don't know if you could stop. Okay, you ready?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Okay, everybody have a chance to read the minutes from last week?
I have. I move to approve.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed 3-0. Commissioner comments and committee reports. Jack, do you have anything?
I do not have anything.
Did you have a joint communications meeting?
I could report that I was not at the joint communications meeting,
Okay.
but they did have, they have a couple changes they got to make to one of the city water towers for cabling and that type of thing. I think Les is going to be up later to explain it to everybody.
Okay.
I have adult corrections tomorrow at 11:30 here in Atchison. It'll be the first meeting they've had since I was appointed, so I guess I'll learn tomorrow. And that's all I have.
You've never been on the adult side before?
They very seldom have meetings.
Oh.
I attended the, of course it's not really county business, but I guess it is. Attended the forum last night. It was well attended for the candidates running for city commissioner.
I was going to try to get there and I just didn't
I'd
get
say
a
there was
chance.
40, 50 people. Pretty good turnout.
We might mention that the polls are open. You can vote here at the courthouse for all the city's elections.
I believe so.
And I think it's from 8:30 to 5 o'clock every night. So get out and vote. I voted this morning and I was number 6. So there's a lot of people yet to vote.
That many
Vote
candidates,
again.
I would look at it.
No, I just do.
Big
You mean
turnout.
that often?
Yeah.
I'm not a Democrat.
Okay. Is that all yours?
Yeah, that's all I had.
I had a K.S.A meeting in Troy. That would have been Thursday morning. Talked mainly about the upcoming proposals to change our sanitation code. They are assisting this year. It's going to be Atchison and Brown counties. The NEKESs we're both have very similar upgrades and changes to what we're looking to bring the codes up to 2017 standards. We're going to try to appoint a board in the near future to kind of oversee the changes, and then it'll be presented to the public in the future. So that's kind of an ongoing process. We just kind of had a regular meeting talking about our sanitation codes, and they're going to have another installers conference. That was 2 years ago when we had it at the Blue Building at Effingham. I don't know where they're going to have it this year. It's they may have it back at Effingham, and that's where they give an educational forum basically for any of the installers for the sanitation projects that they do. They have to be certified every year, and be an opportunity to attend, and for any of the people that install the septic systems.
If I recall, I think we chipped in a little bit on the rent of that building, or we offered the building at no rent, or
We picked up the rent,
Rent.
and I didn't know they were going to do it again, and I hadn't had a chance. I didn't know if we were willing to do that or wanting to do that again. It's kind of an opportunity to bring. It was probably 100 people there to the Effingham facility, so we can talk about that sometime and see if you're interested in doing that. So that's my NEKES update. Okay, Stephanie, you want to come on up?
Can we stand, sit?
Sit down. Be comfortable.
I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Stephanie Lawrence, and I just took over at Project Concern a little over 3 months ago. Lots of exciting challenges and things going on over there. First day on the job, there was some termite damage in some walls, so it's led to a little bit of an upgrade, renovations going on, new floors, new walls, new offices, so exciting. K.S.A, I went to their annual conference in Garden City and met some of those people, and there's some chances to improve some of the services that we offer here in town. We do public transportation right now, and it stays all local in the county. Looking at doing some of the Medicare appointments, which they call non-emergent medical transport. We don't offer that service, and the agencies in Atchison County do at this point. So that's something that we're looking to take on and tackle, and that K.S.A grant application is coming around. Food side, we're still continuing to increase numbers, serving Meals on Wheels and our congregate in Center. So that's going to be another big program that I hope to improve and work on a little bit at a time. We're having an open house on November 9th. It's going to be from 5 to 7. And I apologize, I left the flyers sitting right on the corner of my desk. But if you would like to come, it'd be appreciated. Come check out our new space and meet some of the staff and learn about what we do.
That's
there.
a Saturday night?
It's the 9th of November, should be a Thursday.
Oh, okay, that's, okay.
And I'm going to put out the invite to all community members, and hopefully we get a good turnout to come check us out and see what we're all about. So I do appreciate the support of the commissioners in Atchison County. It's really a valuable thing. We could not do the services that we do without the support of Atchison County. So I appreciate it. Sorry I'm so new to this, but learning everything. And
You're doing
really
fine.
Appreciate it. So.
Excellent.
I don't have much. Do you have any questions?
So tell me about, how's the volunteer base? Is it steady or?
We could use a little bit more volunteer base. Right now we have a couple that are changing. Somebody had to take a little time off for surgery and that kind of thing, so we could use a little more help. We do fill in, our staff fill in and cover those volunteer routes if it's needed.
So do you advertise for?
I'm not quite sure how that works. I'm still learning a little bit about it. We do, it's kind of like more word of mouth. People bring in people they know to come in and volunteer. If we have people stop by, of course, we kind of put it out there. But that'll be another thing that we could kind of push when it comes to open house if people are interested in everything. So.
I'm on the Project Concern board, and we knew we needed to change directions from where he's going, and Stephanie's doing a fantastic job.
Great to hear.
Mm-hmm. Thanks. It's an exciting challenge, and I'm just, it's fun. It's actually a fun thing. I enjoy the people I work with and what I do. I know it's a good service to our community, so. All right.
Okay, well, I think that every year they do a proclamation, isn't that what they would call this? But to reaffirm our support for Project Concern, I'll just read it. It says, Dear Stephanie, the Atchison County Board of Commissioners fully supports the application of Project Concern, Inc. to the Kansas Department of Transportation for operating expenses to help support the transportation program in the city and the county of Atchison. Congregate meals and Meals on Wheels for the homebound provide many of the citizens of Atchison and those at the Effingham site are essential for the physical and mental health of our senior citizens. The transportation service is necessary in this area because it is the only service available in our community that provides regular transportation for the elderly, handicapped, and others at a minimum cost. Atchison County fully supports what Project Concern does, and every year appropriates to them a sum of $125,000. Sincerely, the Commissioners. Now, do we need to just go ahead and sign that, or talk to Mr. sign it?
I also think it does more when they deliver those meals. If there's any problem with the residents, they're aware of it, or if they don't come to the door, they have the routine. So it provides more services than just taxi cab and meals.
You're right.
Oh, they get to visit with other people. It helps their self-esteem, makes their life better.
You're right. They get in a routine. They know that to that door, grab their meal, and somebody doesn't, you kind of know it's a little bit of a
Warning.
safety net maybe kind of situation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Does this need to stay with Michelle, or should this go right to Stephanie?
Probably
Yeah.
get a copy of it.
Yeah, it needs to go to Michelle.
Okay, I'll just put it back in the blue folder, and then she'll get you a copy.
That sounds great.
Okay,
Put a sticky note on it or something.
she'll know what.
Well, she'll know what to do.
All right, thank you. Very nice to meet
so
you.
much.
Reports of elected officials and department heads. Nobody here. Wes is at 1:30, so we'll skip down to new business before the board. Go ahead.
Maybe the new theater at Atchison, or the commitment to that, we never really did say. I don't know if that's new business or old business, being as it's been brought to us.
It was last week, wasn't it, that we heard
Yes,
proposals?
yes.
Well, they asked for $30,000 over 5 years. That's what they were asking for.
I recall the dollar amount, but I don't recall saying 5 years. They just said over time.
Yeah, okay, well,
Yeah.
it just 6 divides into 5 years.
I think it's a good cause. To me, that seems like it's a little more than where I would go. I'd probably be about 20,000, but that's my opinion. I'm not.
Well, I threw that 25 out there to see if they're asking for 30, but they would take 15, or see if they definitely needed the full 30 to operate. $1,000 over a year is not that much difference, but hopefully in the long run it'll give us back dividends as far as youth watching picture shows instead of being hoodlums.
Well, I would make a motion to give them $25,000 over 5 years. That's between 20 and 30, in my thinking.
I'd
Split the
second,
difference?
I'd second that because 25 is what I proposed, so I would second that motion. And I
Okay.
don't know if there's any, you want to ask for more.
Yeah, is there any other discussion that's been moved and seconded? We'll call for a vote then. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass 3-0.
Okay, now that will start in 18, correct, the first
I
payment?
think so, yeah.
Well, we haven't, it's not budgeted for 18. Well, that's another discussion there. We'll have to,
That's true.
I mean, I don't know, and we don't even say, I mean, how much over how long. That was just how much we were going to appropriate, but that doesn't address when it starts, how much we're going to give in increments over 3 years, 4 years.
Okay, we'll have to review the budget to see when we can start.
Okay, yeah, but that will be our commitment. We can tell them what we intend, but we don't have any idea yet. The particulars.
So I think Kylie's looking for some, how to want it worded, or you got it?
What?
What we're intending. I mean, you've got the motion, but I mean, we don't know yet for sure how we're going to make those payments, or actually how.
We have to review the budget for next
Yeah.
year.
I was gonna say, I was just gonna put review budget.
Yeah,
Mhm.
pending budget. Okay.
Somebody, you probably need to get a hold of Mr. Grossman though and tell him our intentions,
Okay.
and it may start in 19, I don't know. Or the end of 18.
Okay, any other new business? or unfinished business. Can't talk today.
I thought maybe we might hear something from Joe about our door project from the state, or from the Historical Society, but evidently they haven't got back with him yet. Or have you heard anything?
I haven't heard anything. I did see him coming in from the parking lot, and he, last week we talked about was it $650 that was that from Carrot? And so he's going to get a hold of you and see what for sure could be spent on. He said there's a project I think the men's restroom in downstairs that he didn't know whether that could be used for that or not on the flooring.
Somebody mentioned the ice machine. Who did that?
I hadn't.
Wasn't
I'm
there?
sorry, what?
The ice machine, wasn't that mentioned?
I don't. We don't have one currently, correct?
Correct.
But
We
the,
could put
but the
one in.
safety committee wanted an ice machine.
Hmm.
$650 would only be a down payment. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
that wouldn't be enough. Well, we got that other money too that we got, that we was gonna have a picnic, and that's kinda just been hanging out, and that was what? 1,000, 1,200, something like that. That we got back from somebody.
Is it the safety committee who does that, or that
Yeah.
takes care of, was asked about the ice machine?
Well, I think this was some money that we got paid back from some kind of insurance, and we talked about having a picnic, and it's still just kind of hanging out there.
Yeah, nothing's
And then
gotten.
the suggestion was an ice machine last, so I don't know if you put those two monies together, and I don't know.
I think we was trying to do something for the employees. It's
Correct.
kind of hard to do that evenly when you've got some here, some EMS, some road and
So
bridge, and
the ice machine would only help wherever it was located.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
So I think that's kind of one of the sticking points of doing that. Another thing would be location, where we could even.
But I think
Put
you
one.
can buy smaller ice machines, but I don't think we need to
Well,
buy half a
like you
dozen.
said, we gotta have a water line, so I guess it'd have to be out by that's pretty crowded out there unless you move it around by the pop machine some way, and then
Uh-huh.
you're
Well, the pop machine's over here now, so
That's
they do
true.
have that location open. It would be a possibility, I guess. Okay, but anyway, Joe said he would talk to you about what it could be spent on for sure, because I couldn't remember, and I don't even know if you told us any of the criteria, what it needed to be.
Well, there isn't a lot, it just has to be something to avoid workplace injuries, so, or workplace safety.
And so I knew it was over
Well,
safety.
Maybe we better use it for something more safety, an ice machine.
Ice
No,
machine's
ice
a
that
little,
one- Yeah.
Far-fetched for
if anything, it's
safety.
a more of a danger, water leaking out of it or something.
Yeah. Okay, boy, we're gonna have to do a lot of stretching today.
It's kind of available, or
She didn't know whether she'd be able to come in. Here comes Wes, just in the nick of time.
Come on up.
He'd be a perfect one for the safety committee.
How are you all doing today?
Good.
Christmas party, you get that email, December
Mhm.
8th. that
Yeah.
carries again.
Yeah, I signed up this morning in the clerk's office for it, so,
I gotta go do that.
for the Christmas
Yeah, I
party.
saw that. I'm actually coming back out of town at 5 o'clock that night, so
Just in time.
just, I mean, it's just a time if the plane is just in time.
Yeah.
You know?
Hopefully it's not an icy evening like it was last year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Last year was a burger.
Because I walked outside for it and got to change my tire.
Yeah.
In the
my.
ice.
Hopefully we have more food than we had last year.
I agree.
I don't like to be the first, I tend to be the last, and
There wasn't much left.
there wasn't much left.
Yep.
And if all the people would have showed up, we'd have been in the world's trouble.
Yep. Yep, we would have been. Okay. I have a PO from Joint Communications for the moving of the cables and building the brackets to mount them to the south. In the amount of
10,400. And then the electric,
the electrical move for 250234.
good memory.
That's written down right here, so I knew that.
Oh, okay.
Just the top one.
I move to approve the purchase order.
Take it we only had one bid.
Yeah, we didn't have a choice with the water tower.
Oh, okay, all right. I'll second it then.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the PO. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Passed 3-0.
I had South Water Tower for 10-4, so.
I would also, Mr. Chairman, like to get
Email it to me, I'm forgetting.
a written agreement with the city I would also like to get a written agreement with the city
Lease.
for 99 years or whatever. That's just good business.
I agree.
I don't know who would do that, you, Pat?
Yeah, I should certainly start.
Contact you, or you want to contact him?
I can contact him if you're ready to my mention.
Just, I think give that to Katie.
And then, yeah, and then I'll hand it here, I'll put a copy of the desk. We have a second PO for the maintenance on the 13 sirens, and then touching the program to make sure everything's right, and replacing the batteries in siren 5, 7, and 10 for $4,407. I'll put this on your desk too.
Make everything better that way.
To remove that.
Was this bid, I mean,
There's not very many siren companies in the United States, period. Blue Valley actually covers like a 6 or 7 state area. So they go clear from to Idaho, so more than 7 state area. There's not very many siren companies. That's who we've had put in all of our sirens everywhere, and they work on all of our equipment. That's all we've ever used that I know of is Blue Valley.
okay. Do I hear a motion to pay the purchase order in the amount of $4,407 to Blue Valley?
I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Passed 3-0.
I wish there was more than one bidder, but it is what it is, I guess, huh?
You know, Wes, this is why you're here you're 5 minutes early. What are some of the things we could be leveraging technology for to improve our efficiencies, our processes, that we're not doing now?
Really for the most part, from even when I started in 2011 till now, this county has advanced a lot in technology. When I started in December 2010, we were behind the times. We had a network that I would say was mid-80s, was a 1980s level. So in the past, from 2011 till now, this county has made major leaps and bounds. Nothing too fast, but to improve our technology county-wide. So we're not state-of-the-art by any means, but technology-wise, we have came a long way. And we spread it out over the years, so it wasn't a huge lump sum cost each year. But we do a pretty good job of looking forward to what we're going to need and doing budget-neutral actions, so we don't cost the taxpayers too much money at once. So as far as technology improvements, the only thing that we're lacking in is probably the election process, which Michelle is actually working on updating her election equipment to improve that and get rid of the older outdated equipment that most counties don't even have anymore. So besides that,
Isn't there technology that a person out on a county road sees a bad spot or that they could report it via a picture and
they
upload
can
it?
do that with some kind of tablet or an iPhone or something like that. The only problem with that is you're going to require an internet service, so you're going to have to buy something like an AT&T MiFi or mobile hotspot that you take with you. 1 or 2 of those would be okay, but if you bought a bunch of those are $60 a month.
No, what I was talking about is
Joe Blow.
farmer out there and comes across a place on the road.
They can already do that.
So how do they do that?
So you take a picture of whatever problem you see, or you don't have to take a picture.
Uh-huh.
And then you can go onto our website under report concern, report where the address, or roughly where, like intersections or whatever, where the problem is and what it is. That gets emailed to myself, Michelle, and Jamie, and then we forward it to the department of whoever needs to handle it. So we already have that on our county
Is there a
website.
follow-up to see if it's been addressed?
Yes.
So how does it follow up?
It's always forwarded to Seth, and then usually I hear this is what happened. Usually he reports back and tells us what he did or what happened. We can also forward it to you guys so you can see them also, if you wanted to see them.
I'm not sure. I mean, are you talking about 50 or 1,000 or?
No, yeah, probably 20, 25 a year. We don't get a lot. We should probably publicize it a little more because
That's-
people would use
yeah.
it more. It's picked up in the last probably month and a half. We've had, I don't know, 10-ish in the last month and a half, which is rare because usually we don't get them, usually they're spread throughout. So, but you can report not just potholes, you can report any concern that you have in the county period that comes through that, and then it'll be forwarded to whichever department needs it. It's right on the main page, right on the very, very front page of our website. On the left side says report concern.
So you said 3 people forwarded it. Does all 3 of you forward it or?
No. So if I see it first, it comes to 3 of us in case I'm sick one day and I don't
Yeah.
see it, or Michelle's sick. So typically it comes to us 3, and then we'll carbon copy the other 2.
So they won't be duplicating each
No,
other?
we don't want to send it to, say it's something for Jack, we don't want to send it to him 3 times.
Yeah.
So we always carbon copy each other on it. So
Mhm.
I know that Jamie got it first and she sent it on, or Michelle or myself sent it on to the department that needs it.
Probably wouldn't be a bad idea if we would see, like if you would have a report, maybe quarterly or something of like what came over. Because a lot of times it's not so much the individual report, but if you're seeing a pattern of
Yep.
same road or same problem and maybe it's not getting fixed, well, if we're not seeing it at all,
Then there's-
we would never know that it was ever reported, ever looked at,
Yep.
ever fixed, ever not fixed.
We can do that.
It's good and it's bad. It would be good, what you just said, but I also think it'd be good for Seth to deal with it and talk to him face to face and solve the problem.
Yeah.
Well,
So a little bit-
I
little
don't
bit of
disagree
both.
with that part of it. He still has to do that,
Yes.
but
But
it's-
we don't know, I mean, if there's a problem and maybe he thinks it's been addressed, but if it's not, and if it's been reported and we don't know. I mean, it would just be a kind of a gauge of what snapshot of what's going on if things are being reported, because most of the time people don't even call me, but if people see me, I'll get people say, well, this road or this, something's wrong here. But that would just be another way for us to just kind of get that snapshot of what's going on in the county.
The bad thing would be, then we would start micromanaging.
Well, as long as you got a report and.
how many there
There's a
were,
fine line there.
were they all solved? I mean,
Yeah.
those be the kind of things I don't want to hear.
There's a fine line there. Easy to do a report to tell you, show you what those were. And really, our website is in the process of redesign, so it's going to change come, the cutoff is actually Friday, so we're not going to add anything, we're not going to add a lot or change much on our website come Friday, because that's when the redesign starts. So we're going to take a snapshot of what our website is and it'll stay there. And if we need to put things on there, we will. But whatever we put on there after Friday won't transfer to the new one automatically. I'll have to go back in and add it later. And then the new website should be around, I have my calendar with me, around January, end of January is when our website, the redesign will be done and we'll publish the one. Which at that time, we'll do a big media story to have everybody come look at our new website. We'll publish that report of concern and speak about it more so people will start using it more. Because we've had that report of concern since 2011.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I noticed that we have things on the Facebook page, it'll say,
Mhm.
look at the county meeting.
Yep.
I think any more we can give out information. Do we ever boost it up and spend a little money promoting it?
A few times a year that's happened, but we don't do it a lot. We have each thing that's posted on there, it'll show you how many people have seen it, how many people were able to view it or see it. And we have a pretty good turnout, a pretty good following on all of the county Facebook pages. or social media pages, I should say. We have boosted a few things. 'Cause I remember doing it, but I don't remember what they were. But if it's something important, you can spend $7 to boost it, and it'll increase your rating from 7,000 people saw it to 13,000 people saw it. I mean, so it's cheap to boost things, and we've done it the past few times, but not on a regular basis.
I think roughly a year ago, we all agreed that some of the news had been on there too long, that we need to update a little bit more, and I think you did that, and that will continue to grow viewers.
Yes.
Except seeing, pulling it up, and 6 months later pulling it up again, they see the same thing.
Yeah.
If you update it,
Yep.
that will
Yep. So
improve
really
it.
with our website design, that's going to, we'll go through and clean everything up, and I've already removed most of the old information that's been out there for a long time. I've already removed a bunch of the old information that is a concern to no one. So hopefully we'll keep on top of it and keep our website fresh and our social media fresh to where it actually helps them. Because the more people that go to our website and find their questions answered there versus calling in helps, and it's faster for them because we're in a electronic age where people want to find the answer right now and be done.
So you're gonna be mobile friendly with this new website?
Yeah, we already are. The website already has a special build for mobile devices, and the new.
But it's not very pretty.
No,
Oh.
and the new one is on a brand new platform. That's why we're actually doing the redesign, because Civic Plus, who we go through out of Manhattan, is actually changing their platform. So that's why we need to do the redesign.
Me and Commissioner Knoll went to a coma meeting. We drove separate vehicles. We sat on far ends of the building, and Commissioner Knoll asked a question of how long we were supposed to keep our
Video up.
videos, and they said forever.
Yeah. Well, I think what drove me to that was our new clerk had went to training, and some people there had suggested that since you have adopt your minutes, written minutes there, that you should delete your video after the first week, and so I was just seeing if there's any clarification, and the gal teaching the class basically was horrified. She says, no, you do not do that. So that's the reason I had asked the question, is because, if that came from clerk
So
training.
I don't know what you're taking off. That's what brought
We're
this.
not taking it off at all. It's,
Oh, I thought
No.
you said you're taking stuff off.
The other old information.
Like old election results.
Oh, okay.
Which you can still get if you go to the archives, but it's not cluttering up the main page. No, videos, we started recording in 2012, somewhere in there. If you go to the YouTube channel out there, you can see the recordings clear back to 2012.
So is it stored on the Google
It's
Cloud?
on
or-
YouTube. If you
Well,
go-
that Google, I did the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, if you go out to YouTube, Atchison County actually has a channel, and you can scroll down through all the videos, clear back to, I think it's 2012, I'd have to go look. Plus, we have a copy of all of them saved on the servers in there, so. And Facebook apparently has a quota, because we hadn't hit our quota, they wouldn't let
You
us
may
load
ask him
anymore.
about that.
So I had to remove some from
$650
Facebook,
safety
but
committee.
they're still all on YouTube.
So do we
These,
put that
yes.
disclaimer on there, this is not official?
Yep. The disclaimer that he wanted to make, that's posted on everyone from there forward. I didn't go back.
Okay, something that was brought to my attention, and I forgot to ask Seth about it, but since it is technology driven, maybe you have some insight. And that would be, there's talking about the radios that the county road and bridge crew use, is that they're,
UHF,
UHF, and having a hard time communicating with that.
they have a repeater on the Lancaster elevator, the Jackson Farmer zones. Since narrowbanding, there are a lot of dead spots throughout the county, and there is times where you can call for anybody and no one will ever answer you. So that repeater is also having issues. I know he's been up on top of that elevator multiple times and called, I think they use Midwest Mobile multiple times to come up there and try and refresh the repeater, but it's getting older and they're having issues. And usually when it fails, it's when the wind's blowing 40 miles an hour and it's cold, which means you can't go on top of that elevator because it's a lot different on top of that elevator than what it is on the ground.
Sure.
So, and I've been up there with them multiple times because I showed them actually where it was and how to get into it. So at some point in the future, something's gonna have to be replaced there. So,
So are you talking just a repeater, or are you talking radios or everything?
that is completely up to you guys and him. When we set up the 800 system, we set up a channel for them. Like we already had the talk group in case they wanted to go, them and City Public Works wanted to go on the 800 system. And at the time when we were doing it, we didn't think that we financially had the money to include them on the project. I can't spell it out. But it would be great in the future to see if they could move to the 800 system, because then they would have communications everywhere.
Ballpark figure, how much do you think?
It would depend on how many radios they had that I don't know off the top of my head.
Be one in every truck, wouldn't it, greater?
I think it was around 70,000 when we started the project.
7, he said?
70.
Oh, 7D.
Yeah.
Oh,
When we started the project and we did an inventory, I think it was around 70,000 to do everything that they had. Don't quote me, that's
Right.
close. And I think City Public Works was around the same amount, so that's cutting 140,000 made the project easier to get done when we did it. So a new repeater is 20,000. A new repeater to get up there and get it installed is 20,000, and that would buy you time. But we have no maintenance on the 800 system because the state owns it. So that's something else you have to remember. If you buy another repeater and put it up there, you're going to maintenance on it. Whereas if you switch them to 800, you don't have maintenance because the state owns that system.
Okay. Just trying to get, some background of what, we might be facing here in the future.
that's something that should be put in the 19 budget.
I can tell you now when we have snow events, and they absolutely 100% need to have good communication, they'll actually come grab my Homeland Security cache of radios, and they use the 800 system during snow events because the system doesn't work. So
You can't be having people stranded out there in snowdrifts in a dead spot.
Correct.
And,
yeah, so but I can't just give those to them because they're Homeland Security. So.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that was just something, and I was going to talk to Seth this morning. Totally forgot it. We got off the subject. So, also, Pat had brought up there last week there that we got a $650 check from K.S.A, like a rebate that can be spent on safety things. So we was just trying to, we're going to ask Joe Bowen if there was something here, or maybe, and since you're on the committee, if there's any good ideas to.
Those checks we always deposit into the safety committee fund that they have. So like right now, the safety committee just approved to purchase a sharps container to put on the main floor of the courthouse, so we don't have people show up throwing their insulin needles or any other needles that they're using in the trash can. So here shortly there'll be a sharps container in this first floor restroom for people to deposit their sharps into. And then each year, we try to make an improvement here or there, safety-wise.
Okay, so that's typical where that has went. Okay, I wasn't for sure even.
There was a discussion about an ice machine. Is that the safety committee?
That was wellness. There was,
Wellness
yeah,
committee.
and I don't know where that is exactly. There was this discussion of putting one here at the courthouse, buying an ice machine through the wellness committee because there was an amount of money. I don't remember what it was, and I don't remember. I don't know what's happened with that. So I'm on the wellness committee, but I'm not in charge of it. So.
Yeah. Most of us aren't thinking about ice today,
Yeah.
as much as we are in July.
So,
But,
yeah, but an ice machine would be handy up here at the courthouse. So, I think they were talking with Joe, seeing where to put it. Is where
That would be a problem.
that's the last I've heard. Is where to put it, because not only do you have to have a water line, you have to have a drain. So,
Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
because of the ice will melt.
sure. Yeah, I hadn't thought of the drain part of it.
Yep. So, I think they were checking with Joe, and I don't think we've had a meeting since then to figure out.
We'll put it in the basement there, then you don't have to worry about it. I mean, we won't have to worry about it here.
So, yeah, safety committee, we tried, anything we need, we tried to fix. And we have a safety box, or a safety committee suggestion box out there on the table, so if people don't feel safe about something, they drop a suggestion box in there, they can be unanimous that way. and then we open those in the safety committee meetings. So there was a discussion about talking with the city to see if they'll put a crosswalk out here on the alley, which I haven't got done yet. That's all.
So where do you see this technology thing? And, you know, if you think about it, 15 years ago, most of us had a home phone.
Mm-hmm.
Now many of us don't.
Correct.
5 years ago, most of us had satellite TV or
Dish.
cable.
Hmm.
Today, a lot of us don't.
Correct.
So what do you see the changes in 5 more years?
Oh, that is hard to tell.
Well,
I mean,
you know, we got to stay ahead of change.
correct, we do. I hope to see us go more virtual. Right now, we have 3 virtual servers that host. So there's 3 virtual servers in there that host most of our servers. So we have 9 separate servers that are virtualized. And I hope to see our computers go that way too. So instead of spending $1,200 per computer, we can buy a virtual Axel terminal, or there's another term for them also, and it simulates your computer, and your computer is actually running off of our virtual servers back here in our vault.
And that's
which
not
is
new
around
technology.
$300.
But that's
So
not new
it's
technology.
not new technology, but that's where I'm hoping we move forward in the near future. As far as, it's hard to predict what 5 years down the road is going to be. I mean, I know where I want us to be, but between now and then, there'll be so many technology advances.
But just how to stay ahead of the change.
So we're always looking to see what the newest software technology is, but we never ever purchase it right as it comes out the gate, because you want to be tried and tested
Yeah,
before
sure.
before we go there. So for example, we're still on Windows 7. Most of our computers are still on Windows 7. Why we let all the kinks get out of Windows 10, and then here shortly we'll start moving computers forward to Windows 10. But right now, most of them, with the exception of the courts, most of the courts are on Windows. Half of the court system is on Windows 10 now. So yeah.
Who knows where technology will be 10 years from now? I'll give you an example. My daughter-in-law, that Alaskan something show, she is one of the finalists. Her questions wasn't asked, but here she is, got a picture of her waving.
Really?
Yeah. She was the 2 ladies on the cattle drive or something, but she wasn't chosen. But it showed her picture on the TV, and
I mean, we're always seeing new inventions and new ideas and new ways of doing things. You just gotta
yeah,
see how that fits into.
it's hard to tell.
Well, we
But
wanted to help,
look
have it
what
help our
we see.
processes and our efficiencies
Absolutely.
more than anything. I mean, you know, how are we going to communicate in 5 years?
Mhm.
I mean, are we going to be using the radios, or are we using something else?
I would love it if they would make these things 100% foolproof, because
Yeah.
that would be the best. But,
Yeah.
but they're not. The state is coming out with the FirstNet system, which is supposed to build more towers throughout the whole United States. And it's supposed to make it to where we can rely on these more, and we can actually, during emergencies, take priority over an area. So for example, during an emergency, when we have a major emergency in Atchison County, our cell phone towers get overwhelmed. You guys try and make a phone call, it doesn't go through. We try and make a phone call, it doesn't go through. The FirstNet system will hopefully fix that, to where when some major emergency happens, we can flip a switch and actually reserve an area for emergency services to be able to communicate when needed. But they're just starting to build that system. We won't see it, I don't know, 3 or 4 more years before we even see it.
What about the next generation 911? I mean, what's
We're getting there. Here before too long, you'll be able to text pictures right to 911 of an accident or of a major, something that you're calling 911 for, emergency that you're calling 911 for. This phone system that you guys finally approved is a large part of making us compliant for next gen 911, but they keep pushing it back. Originally we were supposed to be 911 compliant in 2018 or 17, and now I think they pushed it back to 2020.
are they pushing back because counties aren't ready for it, or funding, or
That would be a incorrect question, because she knows more about it than I do.
okay?
But she's done a very, very good job up there for us to make sure that we are moving forward instead of moving backwards. So even with getting our 911 addresses all correct and our mapping all done, she's really done a very good job for us. I'm very happy we have her in that position.
Good.
So, very good. Any other questions I can try to answer?
Well, I just, that's something I know very little about. I've heard just, it's coming, and I.
Yeah, it was a big, us going to this 800 system was a large push in that because you have to be digital, P25 digital, to be 911 compliant, which the 800 system was. So we could either do that from the state system, or we could buy our own UHF or VHF digital system to be 911 compliant. But then we would have been an island. We would have been here, and we could only talk to us. Whereas with what we did, we could talk to the whole state. So that's why we went on the state system, because it made more sense for us, and it didn't make us an island. Because if a major disaster happens here, we're going to have lots of agencies coming in from our surrounding counties to help us, and vice versa. If something happens in Dauphin County, we're going to go help them. If we would have not run the state system and done our own P25 digital separated system, when we got there, our radios wouldn't have worked, whereas now they will. So we can literally go to Dauphin County, and we can switch channel on my radio to Dauphin County's talkers and talk to them, which we wouldn't have, and we couldn't before we did the 800 change. We couldn't do that. So we got out there and our radios were dead, and they didn't have enough radios for us. So trying to move smart. But I think it's the best thing we did emergency services wise was switch to that 800 system, because now we have coverage everywhere.
So do you think, like in Road and Bridges case, well, it's not budgeted for next year, and if they're having problems with those radios, what's our next step? Do we spend any money on the old system? Okay, well, but I didn't, we've got a full year here, and I don't mean to talk about this without Seth being here. That wasn't my intention. It was just the subject came up now, and you're here, and we're doing it more on the technology front.
I wouldn't dump a bunch of money into that old, the repeater.
Is there anything that could be fixed to tweak it to help us out?
You can always replace. You can always replace boards. Well, I say that. I'm not sure if you still can replace the boards in that one, because you don't have to see the age of it. If needed, you probably could repair it to get you by, but I wouldn't dump a bunch of money into it. Because
We basically got the guts of the new system there that we can
yeah.
go to if we do
Everything's all
commit
set
to.
on the new system. All we have to do is physically buy radios, which there's nothing saying that you have to do it all at once. You can pick your most important assets, your most important road graders. We're going to put a radio in every road grader because that's one of the important ones. And maybe your key dump trucks. And next year you buy a few there, and do it in stages if you have to be able to afford it.
Now,
And
if
buy these are all ones.
yeah,
70,000 is some money, but over the scheme of it, it's not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be in favor of spending a penny on our old system.
well, I didn't mean to dump a bunch of money in it, but it's like what could be done now to make it usable until we get to the
You
budget.
can Band-Aid it and you can keep fixing parts as they go dead. But unfortunately, I don't know how old that repeater up there is, but eventually they're going to run out of parts. Because I'm sure that they don't
Yeah.
make parts for it anymore. We have that problem with like the phone system we have now in 911. They don't make parts for it anymore. You have to find ones that have been made put on a shelf somewhere. So that's the issue you're going to have with that. So moving forward,
I look at the radio system as a need and not as a want. You want to address your needs, always.
correct.
Yeah, it's a public safety issue too, and employee safety issue.
And right now, there's times where we have to use road and bridge out on scenes. If the dump truck or the snow plow is leading us to a call. There's lots of times where we work together. Major accidents where we're closing down roads, directing traffic, diverting traffic, and we can't communicate now because they're on UHF and we're on 800. So unless we have extra radio at the scene to say, here you go.
Would you lean more towards radio in a vehicle or handhelds? that could be,
I don't think they have too many handhelds. I think most of
Okay.
theirs are in their vehicles. And last time, I thought they had a few handhelds here and there. And that way they're fixed. They're in that vehicle and they're not falling off the side of them while they're digging something or they're losing them. They're fixed. They're in the vehicle. So unless you lose the vehicle, it's only you lose the radio. So, which is, I think he only has like 4 or 5 mobiles or portables. I think the rest of them were all fixed in their vehicles.
Now, if you did buy a couple for a couple trucks and maybe for a couple graders, when they do their communications, is it going to pick up on would it pick up on the old system and the new system, or would it have to be a separate, one or the other? I didn't know if there was any way that would piggyback off the other one.
Leave both radios in the vehicle.
You can patch them. I mean, you can do a patch.
I didn't know if that was feasible or what, or I'm just curious.
Yeah. You're patching the analog system in with the digital system, and
if we're going to,
That explains it.
if we're going to solve the problem, let's solve the problem. Let's don't
Well,
do it halfway.
yeah, I mean, it would just be until we got there, if we would do a partial or something on funding, but,
and
it's,
that dollar number that I told you might be completely wrong.
I understand.
It's been 3 years since I went through all those figures, so I could be wrong. The best thing would count how many mobiles that he has and how many portables that he has that he needs.
I wouldn't think we need to put in every pickup, probably his pickup and the office and the graders and the dump trucks. You wouldn't need one in the backhoe or.
You'd need them in the flag vehicles though, because
Yeah.
that's how they communicate back and forth to say, send 3 cars, last one's this one. You need them in flag vehicles. I'm not saying everything would have to have one at all. I mean, mobiles and portables are the same price exactly, so either way, you can, if you want to buy some mobiles, get around that.
That might be something that if Seth has some leftover money,
You could start putting some in there.
we could do that. 70,000 isn't a whole lot for the county scheme of things. I'd suggest that you look into, get some actual figures, get with Seth and let's don't go crazy and put one in everything, but what's needed to be and get an
He could bring
estimated.
options. He could bring the base minimum and what he would like to see, and you could balance between those two.
And then would you still be off that repeater or you'd be off something?
You got the system
Yeah.
in,
Yeah.
take that repeater down, no maintenance, and you're done with it. Yeah.
And,
We already
and the
mentioned
maintenance
also-
program we have with the state now, we could add to that, or would that be additional?
Nope, we can add to it. All we gotta do is program.
So there
the
wouldn't be
radio.
no extra cost there.
Correct. And the
Okay.
talk groups didn't cost us anything anyway. That's why we went ahead and set a talk group up for them, knowing that someday they would switch to the current system. It was already done. We didn't have to go through all the filing and paperwork because we did it all at once and we got all of the channels.
And what other group did you mention beside Road and Bridge? It was
City Public Works.
City Public, well, that'd be on them.
Yeah.
But it's already set up if they ever decide they want to. We already have all the licensing done, all the paperwork done. All they have to do is program the radios.
Okay.
Okay.
I can't think of
I'm
anything.
gonna ask you a really wild question because it has nothing to do
Hopefully I
with
can answer.
our thing. But last year there was a lot of conversation at the county fair about throwing candy in the safety of children.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any solutions for that or ideas?
I completely understand why they say not to throw it, because if you throw it, it doesn't get very far from the vehicle. The little 3-year-old runs out there, and the person behind him doesn't see it and gets ran over. That is a huge liability, and I hope no one ever runs over a kid at a parade. But the suggestion...
Well, there's also animals and,
all that.
Yeah.
Was it Michelle that had a suggestion? What she suggested last year is when you guys go through the parade and having people walk along and passing out candy, that is the safest. It really is the safest way to do it. And there's lots of people that do it that way. You always have, 4 walkers or so on either side of the vehicles that pass out candy because the kids love candy. And it doesn't have to be just candy. I mean, emergency management, when the rescue truck goes through, I have my emergency management guys hand out pamphlets and stuff like that. promoting how to plan and being prepared for the storms and all that. So it doesn't have to be candy. Kids like candy.
Well, anything shiny. It could be marbles, and they'd be running. Oh, there's something now.
I come up with another idea. Who's to say that we can't have a booth somewhere in the Boo Building or something set outside, come by and get some candy from Atchison County?
Absolutely can.
And that would simplify the safety. They would come to the booth, you'd hand them so much candy and the kids would go on. Now, it may not be good the first or second year, but I guarantee you, it won't be too many years and the kids said, oh, we gotta go up by the county and get the candy.
Yeah.
You're right. The more years you do it, the better it would be.
And we wouldn't have to worry about safety issues. We could set up one place, we could have 2 or 3. I mean, we could work it, or employees could work it and pass out the candy and.
Absolutely.
But we're not the only ones throwing candy.
No.
You're not.
No, there was
I like the idea that it has to be thrown by a walker.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't come from the, can't throw candy from a vehicle.
Correct.
Does it, I think that makes the most sense.
People walking along there the streets.
And what Bill said too, you know.
So the booth is a good idea.
I think it's a very good idea.
On that, there wasn't a change. I know this, you're not part of the Fair Association, but I mean, I think in years past they had enforced it. Was it just kind of gotten away from the candy throwing, or had anything changed? Or?
No, I mean, they just don't enforce it as much as they used to. But you're not supposed to. It says in the, which you guys probably don't get all the paperwork at the beginning of the parade day.
Mhm.
It says in the paperwork where you're supposed to sign up that, you know, what the rules and everything are when going to the Atchison County Parade, which I can send you so you can see those because I get it every year.
I think, or maybe
Back in the day when I was on the fair board, I think we went so far to even pass out handouts to the people that was in the parade, such as your representatives or your commissioners. This is what you can do, this is what you can't do.
Yep.
Now, whether they still do that, I don't
They
know.
email it out now
Okay.
with your application to be
So
in the parade.
everybody's
You guys-
in their parades
you guys
aware
have
of
a
it.
set number and you're in the exact same spot every year, so you don't have to worry about all that.
Correct,
But anybody else that wants to be in the parade has to fill out a form.
correct.
So,
Okay.
yep. Which I'll forward that to you. I still have this year, so you can see it.
So I think it's safe to say that we can pass that can. I think, not because I come up with it, I think the booth, it would be the easiest, the simplest, and,
Or maybe we find some simple toys that, you know,
yeah.
I order on grant stuff, like grant funds every year, where we get out a frisbee that has a plan.
It'd also be
Or
nice
like those calendars.
it's back to school time, I mean.
in that candy or in that toy that some kind of information, you know.
Yep.
Or pencils. You know, that's an old-fashioned thing.
Pencils.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
Pencils and pens and have,
education-wise,
you know-
Did you know your county's this many years old, or
Yep.
get them spark their interest in the county.
And you also have a lot of citizens that would stop and tell you what they think.
Yes.
That could be dangerous.
Okay, if you're complaining, you get an extra piece of candy.
It could be either way. So,
Give them the sedative candy.
But we're out there. I mean, we're out there visually. We're out there.
Remember,
Yeah.
a complaint is a gift.
It's an opportunity.
Wow.
it's not true.
Yeah. That's you opportunity to try to do better and set it straight. And
Because we work for them. So, yeah, and the more they see you guys out in public, and not just you, any of the departments out in the public, to where they can voice their opinion,
Mhm.
the better.
Well, I'm bad about that because you should be out there, but it never fails. Once you get out there, you don't hear very many positive. You're negative, but that's part of our job as well too. So I should be more public involved than I am.
Yeah, you hear both, more negative than positive. So,
I did hear quite a bit of positive on the River Road, though.
I did too.
And
just
I
drove
was
on there. That turned out nice.
It turned out nice, and I thanked them.
We got
You know.
we got a piece of equipment up there. We need to pick up sheep's tooth. I mean, nobody's going to steal it, but it needs to be.
yeah, good luck.
It needs to be removed.
Yep, it does. It does.
Make a
They
note
can
to
be able
Seth.
Still that.
Okay.
Gentlemen.
Thank you for the.
Check in on the radios.
I will.
Get with Seth, and then get back with us next month or whenever.
Cool. We'll let you know.
Okay.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't forget my
I'll
coffee.
put these on your desk now. before I forget like last time. Thank you.
Thank-
Did you see my email about that? When's AT&T doing the money, what accounts we put into? Just want to reply to it.
I noticed that we moved the public comment up. Did you notice that?
Mm-hmm.
What?
We did,
Public comment, we moved it up to number 4 on the agenda.
Did we, it's not here that way?
yeah, which I just skipped over since we had no one in the room, but I did see that. I think
Yeah,
that
I
would be an
noticed.
improvement.
I noticed that, yeah.
Because I always wondered about that public comment. There was never any set time, so they could be setting through a whole
An hour.
meeting. If we had
Yes.
6 people and we were behind and we couldn't take time, they could be sitting here till 3:30, 4 o'clock before
That's
they
a
could.
good point for everybody to understand that we moved the public comment up to right after the Pledge of Allegiance. So if people can come up without an appointment, we can't spend all day, but 5 or 10 minutes with an issue
Yeah,
is certainly a welcome, and we welcome it, actually.
we usually give them a minute, isn't it? A minute, but was it 5 per person, or is it
On
a
the
minute
same issue.
on the same
If
issue?
there's 10 people standing there, we
I think we come
Yeah.
up with, if you're not on the agenda, you get 5 minutes, but now where you're having a public comment, I don't think we have anything into play.
Well, I think it
'Cause
really.
that's a different matter than if you're not on the agenda, we'll give you 5 minutes to talk, but now we're having a special time set for public comment, so we probably need to address that maybe.
The chair should be able to decide.
Run that, yeah, that's true.
My take, and I think we talked about it before, was they ought to be able to present their case in like a minute, and maybe if we could solve it within 5, that would kind of encompass that complaint. But we can't spend more than 5 minutes at the beginning of the meeting. If it's going to last longer than that, we'd encourage them to
Get on the agenda.
get on the agenda for the next week. So, because a minute, you sit here and gonna talk about a complaint. If you're going to talk for a full minute, it's surprising how long that is. And we always, if it was something that merited a lot of further discussion, we had the time, we could allow it.
Right. And they need to come up and be on the camera.
Yes, and I do believe something we didn't talk to Wes about was the new microphones, and I think we're going to have the podium over here. But we weren't going to do the drop mic in the middle of the room. But I think that we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do with this configuration and get the podium here so those people are seen and heard on the tape.
Too bad we couldn't have a camera facing both ways, and if somebody was at the podium, that there's some kind of, once there was voice going to that mic, that the camera switched to them, or that may or may not be feasible or cost.
Well, it has somebody have to run it, or it's hard to do it automatically.
Yes.
Okay, is there any old or unfinished business before the board? County councilor updates?
I don't have anything.
Not 2:30 yet.
Yeah. Have we looked at the bills yet?
I think it'd be okay to do that because they're definitely here for it to get out,
Right. So,
so.
Somebody was viewing it up there on break.
I didn't hear you.
I said, is it too early? It's not 2:30. And
I think it's
Mr.
fine.
Henderson said he didn't see a problem. I said, the only problem if somebody was viewing it while on break.
Yeah.
This isn't posted to wall after it's
It's
over.
not live.
That's true. That's true.
That's a good point. So do you have that for us to review? Is that one for each?
I reviewed mine already. I did have another one.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Pat, should someone read this so people watching could hear what it is?
Do we want it read out loud then for the
You can.
camera? Okay.
Make sure your microphone, make sure you get clear.
This is under the exclusive negotiation for acquisition of long-term care facility located in the state of Kansas. The letter reads, Gentlemen, the undersigned is pleased to present this exclusivity letter with respect to the following long-term care facility known as the facility. It is a 54-bed skilled nursing facility commonly known as Atchison Senior Village, located at 1419 North 6th Street, Atchison, Kansas, 66002. By its signature below, the Board of County Commissioners of Atchison County, Kansas, which is the seller, agrees for a period of 60 days after this exclusivity letter has been executed by the parties hereto to withdraw the facility from the market and to negotiate from the date hereof in good faith exclusively with Recover Care, which would be known as the purchaser, with respect to the sale of the facility. The parties hereto agree and acknowledge that, except for the matters of specificity set forth above, it is understood that is that how you would read that? Or just one? Is that one? Okay. Okay. No liabilities or obligations are intended to be created by this exclusivity letter or the consent by the parties hereto. 2. This exclusivity letter is not intended to constitute a legal binding agreement to consummate the transaction contemplated hereby or to enter into a legally binding agreement. And 3. No binding obligation will be created unless and until a written agreement evidencing such obligation is duly executed and delivered by the parties. And it would be signed by me, the chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion to allow you to sign this letter on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners.
I second it, Mr. Chairman.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion on this? Okay, all in favor of me signing off on this?
You need to sign that as well.
But do we need to make that in this statement? Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Pass 3-0.
How many copies do we want signed? 2?
Okay. And just,
I forgot to print off the other one, so it's printing now.
okay.
There's a third one if you wanted.
I'll just go ahead and sign it. We'll have one for our own
There
copies.
it is.
We've already
On
printed.
file, 2 copies.
Pat may want one, so I will wait until he gets back and see if.
I don't think there was any stuff on the back, was there?
No, that's for them to sign. Double check in the blue folder, make sure we've. That can be probably bills.
How many copies did you make? Just 2? Okay.
This is the engagement.
Patrick, you've read this and feel like it's,
Yes,
Right.
I have, it's very standard.
Did you rewrite this one as well?
I would make a motion that we approve Chairman Knoll to sign an engagement letter for Dysart and Taylor to act on our behalf as a real estate, work on the real estate transaction of the nursing home.
Conversation, now that will be not a percent of the sale, but that'll just be from legal services, correct?
Billing on an hourly basis is what
I'll second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Pass 3-0. And again, that was just me signing.
Yes. Two copies. You want one of those back?
one's from me and one's from Michelle.
Okay, that one goes there. This one goes here. Pat, on the first one, did you want a copy of, we signed 3 copies. Do you want a copy of this one too? And then there's 2 copies for her. Okay. Is there anything else that we need to deal with here? Oh,
That doesn't have to be,
You don't have to approve that.
Okay, but don't we have to talk about it?
You can if you want, but you don't.
Oh, I
have
thought
to.
you wanted to talk about it the same day as
just a
we
press
hired an
release.
attorney and
it's gonna happen.
Well, you wanted it to wait till tomorrow?
Yeah.
We got it, so, yeah.
so we're gonna meet tomorrow?
No, it will just happen.
Okay.
Are we good? Understood on that? Okay. Other than that, do we have anything else? If not, do we have a motion to adjourn at 2:15?
So moved.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Pass 3-0.
The only